Everybody, welcome to Do You Even Art? This is gonna be episode 8, I believe. It's gonna be kind of a lower budget kind of affair here today. I don't have my green screen up. I'm using my webcam, stuff like that. Um, just wanted to get something up just to kind of keep things moving forward, and I've been really off and on when it comes to getting things kind of rolling. And that's some of that's what I'm going to kind of talk about today here. Um, First thing, what we're working on is if you followed me at all, you do know that I do work for Inspire Pro Wrestling. What I do there is a lot of the illustration work for all of their campaigns for their actual um, their different shows and stuff like that. So right now I'm working on a piece here to kind of go from there. I just started kind of with the tracing of the basic shapes and stuff. I already went ahead and got that in there. So what I do is I duplicate the layer that I was getting the basics of, and I shrink it down. I keep it as a smart object and kind of put it right there. I used to kind of do things a little differently, but when it comes to the Inspire stuff, I kind of just stick with this method. Not sure why. It's just the way it ends up kind of going. You can probably hear my cats in the background. They're being cats doing their thing. Like I said, this is almost kind of like the way I do my live streams when I do get to do them. However, I didn't want to do this one live just in case, mainly because we're having a pretty big storm locally, and I didn't want the footage or anything to get cut off or have power get lost or anything. If power gets lost here, all you'll see is a brief edit, and I'll go, the freaking power just went off, that kind of thing. So basically we're just working on this particular wrestler, Jordan Lennox, looks like, and haven't drawn him yet at all for any Inspire Pro stuff or anything. So he has a match coming up with Ryan Davidson, I believe, and I'm just going ahead and going to be drawing him a little bit and just talking about some other stuff and everything, because I know the channel's been updating a lot slower than I promised and a lot slower than I wanted to, and I'm going to talk about that and just let everybody know what's kind of going on here. Basically, if you watched my blog update that I was doing, in that blog update, I mentioned that I was kind of working with getting a new episode up, and all this type of crazy stuff happened. So I'm going to go into a little bit more detail with the craziness there. Basically, I was going to record, I believe it was on last Sunday was when I was actually set up to record. And I was running a little bit late with it, later than I'd like to be. And I just kind of ran into a bunch of technical issues. I set up my actual DSLR. I set up my green screen, had everything lit properly and everything, and was going to do an actual, YouTube show, not just of me drawing or anything like that. It was going to be actually me talking to you about a lot of things, influences, techniques, and stuff that really kind of matters. So what ended up happening is I was doing the recording and I was getting ready to start the editing process, and I'm feeling really, really good about this actually. And I'm kind of a shy person, so getting in front of the camera completely without having me, be in this tiny little box that I'm in down in the left-hand corner here, was a pretty big step for me. And I started doing the recording. I did multiple takes of stuff. I wanted to make sure I had everything scripted out and stuff, which I did. I have a script for it and everything, that I was doing. It was going to be an actual episode of Do You Even Art? That episode's still going to be coming, but I decided to do it kind of as a 10th episode special type thing. to give me a few weeks to redo stuff. And here's the reason why. I was going ahead, I was filling in, filming all the stuff, and I was doing audio recording separately and got all of that, and had a little bit of an audio glitch, but that resolved itself pretty quickly. So there wasn't really any problems or anything like that really going on. Or at least I thought. What ended up happening is like, go ahead, I finished it all up. I was feeling really good. I was feeling really inspired. Not to be too punny. I was feeling good. I was feeling inspired. I had a really, really good talk coming up with this, and I sat down and was like, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna edit this right away. So I go ahead and I loaded up my DSLR, up to my computer. I went ahead and started importing all of the files, and there's about maybe 5 or 6 files in there, and some of them were a little bit smaller than I was kind of anticipating. So I was a little worried there, but I was just kind of took a step back and was like, okay, well, that doesn't mean much. It could have split up, because when my DSLR overheats, it does split up the actual recording into more than one recording, and stuff like that. That stuff happens. So I wasn't super concerned. I was a little worried, but I wasn't super concerned. So I load it all up, and I open up Premiere and import all the footage and just put it on the timeline chronologically. I put it on there, and I realized that I imported the audio and everything too, and the audio was about 45-50 minutes long, including all the alternate takes and stuff like that. And video wise, it stopped around the 20-minute mark, and this had me more than a little concerned for what was kind of going on. Turns out somewhere during the process, video just cut out. It didn't give me any warning, because I had my phone recording some stuff as well, just off in the background. I usually do that because I wanted to have kind of, at least for this episode, I wanted to have kind of an actual production feel. I wanted to make sure that everything. Let me see what color his eyes are. Everything that I did, I could have like backstage cutaways and stuff like that. I wanted it to actually feel like an episode of a show. So turns out my camera gave no errors. It didn't pop up and say it was overheating. It didn't show any signs of having any type of issue. Not even a little bit. So I got really disheartened really quick. And I know that it comes down to, you have to the show has to go on and stuff. So I was like, all right, I'm going to take this step back here real quick and see what I have, edit together what I have at least, and then figure out what to do when it came down to the rest of the footage, and just see if I could at least get a smaller episode out of it or something like that. I didn't want to waste almost 2-3 hours worth of planning and writing and all that kind of stuff. I didn't want to waste it at all, and I felt some of the takes were really good. I felt I had a little bit of comedy thrown in there, which once again it was out of my wheelhouse and everything. So I was just kind of working with that, and I was focusing, and I'm like, I can get something out of this. I can get something out of this. And it was already, I'd say, about maybe 1 o'clock in the morning or so. And for me, I'm a single father for the most part, and I mean, his mother and I aren't together. She still lives here, but she goes out and she does whatever her thing is. I don't really care, to be fair, but what that means is I'm the responsible one. I'm the one who's here for my son, pretty much 24/7 as much as I'm needed while I'm in between jobs. And that means that I can't stay up till 4 or 5 in the morning to finish a project. Usually I get tired around 10 or 11, which it's about 10:45 right now. I usually get really tired around this time, and I'm actually pretty tired, but I need to get some of this work done. So, or Max will kill me. So I looked at the clock. I'm like, all right, I just, 1 in the morning, I can at least get some of this going here. And I loaded it up and kind of went through and realized that halfway through, after I synchronized the audio, halfway through, part of the audio was missing. And not that it was completely missing, but there's about maybe a 4 or 5 second chunk that just disappeared. It was all in the same file. There was no cuts in the file or anything like that. It's just 5 minutes or so of my talking just disappeared. Normally this wouldn't be a huge issue, mainly because my DSLR was at least recording scratch audio, so I didn't lose what I said or anything like that. So that wasn't a huge issue. But I couldn't take it. It was too late. I was in a really bad mood. After all the stuff that happened, after I lost everything, and I was trying to put myself out there more than I do with this YouTube channel already, and it sucked. It wasn't very good. That was about 2 weeks ago now, when that happened. And I know that it's been about 3 weeks since I put up an actual full episode. I was building a new computer for that. I'm gonna talk about that and give a brief rundown in a few minutes of that. But what ended up kind of going on is I ran into some issues with cloning my drives and stuff like that. So that became what should have been a 1-day job of taking the parts that my brother sent me, which he sent me some really good stuff compared to what I was running beforehand. He sent me basically a brand new i5 processor running 4 gigahertz, which is awesome. And he sent me 16 gigs of RAM and anything that I would need. He just kind of had sitting around. The only thing I needed to get was a cooler, heat sink and a fan for the actual processor itself, because he reused the one that was in there for his current computer. And the only other thing I had to get was like a USB hub and stuff, because I wasn't sure if I was going to have enough USB ports on the new tower that he was sending. So I figured better safe than sorry, get a small little 4-port hub and like $5 on that and be fine. So I got that stuff. I built the computer and everything, and just everything went smoothly with the build. It was once everything was done being built that I ran into issues, because I didn't want to just trash my old computer. My old computer was a first generation i7 processor. It was the 920, I believe. And when you think about it this way, we're on like the 7th or 8th generation i9 processor, so it was on its last legs. I mean, I had 14 gigabytes of RAM in it, a GTX 960 graphics card wise. My brother sent me a 970. So everything that he sent me was just kind of a little bit of an upgrade. I didn't want to trash the computer though. I wanted to kind of gift it to my son for his birthday, because he has my old hand-me-down MacBook from 2008 and everything like that, and he loves Apple and everything just as much as I do. If I could afford an actual Mac, I would probably have went that route, but I needed something for now. And my brother mentioned, hey, every single part in this can be Hackintoshed and stuff, and I thought about it. I just didn't want to kind of deal with that yet. I might do that in the future. But either way, my son had a bunch of games and stuff that can only be played on PC. Stuff like Hello Neighbor, NAF World, and stuff. Stuff like that. Stuff that was on Steam that he really liked playing, and I had that all on this computer. Just so that he could play it sometimes, not all the times, but sometimes he could play it and he would be happy, and it'd be awesome. That's where he did all of his recordings and stuff, because if you haven't seen, he has his own YouTube channel that he loves doing. So I thought to myself, all right, so here's what I'll do. I'll clone my main hard drive and put it onto the SSD that my brother sent me, and give the other hard drive to the hard drive that's currently in my computer to my son, and just kind of format the hard drive and download all of his stuff from Steam and go that direction. And in theory, that's an amazing idea, except for the fact that I ran into nothing but problems getting my drive to clone. Now, the main issue came from the fact that the drive that my computer currently had in it was a like a 5400 RPM solid regular hard disk drive. It was 500 gigabytes. The SSD that I was going to be moving to was only a 250 gigabyte. So obviously I had to do some shaving down and stuff like that. And it's been a while since I built computers, so I took my time with trying to get this all right. I really took my time. I didn't want to mess up a single thing. So I spent, before the parts even arrived, I spent about a day or two paring down the hard drive quite a bit. Got it down to about 200 gigabytes of used data. And I was like, okay, well, that gives me a 50 gigabyte buffer on the SSD, which is going to be perfect. I'll clone the drive and loaded up my cloning program that I got and everything, and was ready and off to the races, basically. So I went ahead and did that, and looks like we got a new subscriber. Awesome. I forgot that I'm not live streaming, so I have all my live stream stuff set up. So thank you very, very much for subscribing. Lucky girl. I appreciate it. And you'll see that in the new episode. So there you go. Where was I? Ah, yes. I go to clone the drive, and it clones fine. Awesome. So I was actually quite stunned. Everything cloned. Cool. So I unhooked the main hard drive. I didn't want to wipe it yet, of course, because I wanted to at least make sure everything's working. I put the SSD into the main OS slot, which it wasn't hard. I just unplugged it and plugged it in, and I go to boot up, and it is not a bootable drive. It doesn't recognize Windows is on this drive at all. Not even a little bit, not even enough to, fix anything. So I stop and I think to myself, crap, this means that I'm going to have to go in here and try to fix everything with this. And I spent almost an entire day doing every single tip and trick I could possibly think of and find online to help get this drive cloned. Long story short, it never happened. My son has an SSD in his computer that I built for him out of my old parts, and I'm still running off my old 5400 RPM drives. Mainly because I was tired of it. After literally almost 11 hours one day going through and trying to rewrite boot sectors and trying to reclone drive sections, and it was a headache. And I'm sure there's somebody out there who's like, "Oh, I could have done this, this, and this, and everything would have been fine, and you would have been awesome." Um, like I said, it was a little bit of time since I I did anything like that, since I've done any IT stuff. So I was rusty, and I didn't want to. The thing that was really getting to me was I wasn't spending enough time with my son during this time. I was, going ahead and trying to get this to work, and I was really focusing on getting this to work so much that he suffered for that day and a half. I'd have him help whenever he could. He'd bring me parts when I was building it and stuff, and when I was waiting for stuff to clone and stuff, I of course would be playing with them and everything as much as I could, but he wanted to play Hello Neighbor. He wanted to record a new video for his channel and stuff like that. And at the time, there was no way of him being able to do that then, because everything was set up in my studio area here, and there was no computers in here. There was just an empty desk, and I was doing all my work out in the kitchen area, where the dining room and stuff is. So he had to even wait to be able to do that kind of stuff. It was breaking my heart, to be honest with you. I don't like seeing him sad. I'll still discipline the heck out of him when I need to and everything, but try to make him as happy as I can. And I have my reasons for that. And if anybody knows me personally, you know that I try to do my best with situations that have existed. That's all right. Either way, by the end of all this headache that I was kind of going through and stuff like that, I just decided to say I'll give him the better hard drive. That's not a huge issue. I'll save up some money. The whole reason I was using used parts for my brother anyways, because I'm broke. I'm still looking for a new 9-to-5 job. Doing some commissions here and there, but commissions aren't enough when it comes, these day and ages right now to not have a 9-to-5 job. And there's this whole issue with unemployment that I had to go to court for and stuff like that. And either way, it's a less than desirable situation that I'm currently in. I'm not going to whine about it. It's just the way it is, There's been times where I felt like there was nothing else, and I just had to kind of, suck things up and do it. And I felt worthless at times and stuff like that. But I'm trying to be as positive as I can. I keep applying for IT jobs here and there. Tech support jobs. I have a insurance background a little bit, and I still have my insurance licenses for the next few months. I kind of can't afford to keep up with them, to be fair. I have property and casualty licenses for insurance and stuff like that in about 24 different states, and each one of those is like $50 to keep going every year. My home state of Colorado is about $59, and I thought about maybe doing that, but I'm not sure if insurance was for me. I didn't have a hard time with it. I was okay at my job doing it and everything, and just politics and stuff kind of got in the way in that job. Not sure still exactly why I don't have that job anymore, but no one was willing to give me answers past their very vagueness, but I'm not going to talk about that. What it comes down to is I'll save up money eventually and spend like $150, $160, however. You can get a 500 gig SSD and just go that way then. That way I can just clone the drive and all of its different sectors and everything 100%, not have to pare it down or anything. It'll just boot up and everything will be awesome. I hope. But either way, that was what was kind of going on with that. And so back to the 10th episode extravaganza that I kind of had planned. And I that very night after everything was kind of going through there, I was just so tired, didn't want to do it anymore. The next day, I sit down with my iPhone, and I go, all right, I need to get something out my fans, the few fans that I have here, I'm just now starting to build up my channel and gain subscribers, and I'm kind of freaking out. So I record a video log, and you haven't seen this video log as well, because my luck completely is fantastic. I swear. I record it. I go to upload it straight from my phone, just straight outright. Wasn't gonna edit it. Wasn't gonna add my intro or anything like that. Which I'm working on a new intro. My other one has some old art in it and stuff, and I want to kind of update it. And I do motion graphic work as well, and I just wanted to make it a little bit more fancier, a little bit more modern than what I currently had it at. Either way, I upload it, and it says it's processing for about 4.5 days. It says it's processing. I try to re-upload it. It says that the file can't be uploaded. I ran into issues there. That blog goes bye-bye. So here I am now, about maybe 5 days past when my last week's episode was supposed to go up. It's a Friday right now is when I'm recording this, and I'm going to actually put this up probably next Wednesday. So let's see here. It is Friday, July 21st when I'm recording this. I'm probably not going to put it up until the 26th. The Wednesday the 26th. So this is going to be episode 8 there. Either way, being said, all of this stuff, I started to feel down, really down. I got turned down for 2 jobs. One, it was one of those jobs that I was like, I'm gonna apply here. I'm qualified for it. It'll be something to keep me afloat for a while. And I got turned down. That was devastating to me. I had what I thought was a really good interview. I had all the qualifications in the world for it. I even had more qualifications than were needed. I had licenses because it was another insurance job. I had licenses for states that I didn't even need, and all this stuff. It was I talked about it, with friends and stuff, and said I wasn't sure if I wanted it, but I knew I needed it. That's probably what my downfall was. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happened with it, but I got turned down for it, and that really kind of killed me. I want to get his hairline right, because hairlines never tend to get right just by eyeballing, especially not when I'm tired. And there we go. All right, so just that now. Now I know where his hairline is. So what ended up happening with that is I got really down there, and I had another job for a pretty well-known tech company. I was going to be doing support with them, and they gave me my assessment, and in this assessment, you had to do projects and everything and prove that you knew what you were talking about and stuff. And I went ahead, I did the full assessment, which went really well. I got it done relatively quickly, and I put my all into it and stuff like that. And I shipped it off to them, the full project, which was basically setting up a web server for a client and tech stuff. It was tech stuff for a tech company. So I knew I had to get it right. But I thought I did a really good job at that. And I sent it off, and 3 days later got an email that they decided they weren't going to move forward with the interview process. And that once again devastated me as well. People are saying to me, don't worry about it, you'll find something and stuff. But that was one job that I actually was really hyped to possibly get. The funny thing is I didn't even know what the pay was. The pay could have probably been, even as low as like $10 an hour for all I knew. I didn't know. But the company was somebody I wanted to work for. and the benefits and stuff like that that they had were amazing. I'm not going to get into it, and I'm not going to name the company. The company I actually have nothing but good to say about. They decided not to give me an interview, but I was a little bitter about not getting the interview. So I it was kind of almost a form letter at first, but I emailed the recruiter directly back and said, "Hey, you gave me some tips in here to read up on certain books and to read up on culture of the business that you are and stuff like that." And of course, I used the actual name of the business and everything. And I was like, and that's all well and good, but I need to know where, for my own peace of mind, where I messed up if I did mess up. Is it, did I not have enough qualifications? Is it that, um, did I mess up on the project somewhere? Like, if I messed up somewhere on setting this server up, let me know, because I thought I had it pretty solid, and I tested everything 150 times over. Um, I was like, I need to know for my peace of mind where things went wrong. And to their credit, this company emailed me back, and right away too, like within a day, and and let me know that, hey, it wasn't that I did anything wrong per se. There was just a few other people who applied who were more qualified, who actually had direct experience working with the company. And there's kind of internal hires and stuff like that were kind of happening too. Um, and that hey, here's a couple of things to kind of bone up on, and next time we open up positions, we want you to apply again. So that made me feel a little bit better. Um, Not perfectly better. I still wish they would just give me an interview, but um, it was one of those things. I was like, okay, at least they took their time out. The recruiter herself took her time out of her day to shoot this weird Colorado guy an email actually explaining everything as to why they didn't want to go through with me. So that was all right, and I applied to a few more jobs, and I started lowering my standards even more than I would want to. Uh, but coming up on it, to be honest with you, if I don't find something before August rolls around, like mid-August, most likely this channel itself is going to go bye-bye. Um, Mainly because I won't have money to pay September's rent. So I had to start lowering my standards. Instead of looking strictly for tech and IT jobs, which is what I qualified for, and looking for insurance jobs and stuff, which is what I'm qualified for, and I have 13 years of management experience in call centers and stuff like that. I have a lot of qualifications when it comes to that, other than my art stuff. Um, I started looking for stuff like assistant managers at movie theaters and stuff that the schedule could be at least a little bit more flexible, but still put a little bit of money in my pockets. So all this stress was getting to me, and I kind of lost a lot of will to do artwork. I didn't want to do it. I got really really down, especially over the past week. And I would sit in front of the computer, and I would load up this file, this is all my Inspire Pro, previous Inspire Pro work and stuff, and I'm redoing a lot of people because I have the time. This one doesn't actually need to be done technically. The show's a September show, but they want to start hyping matches and stuff early. So I have a little bit of time, but I have more time than I did with the last show. So I wanted to go back in and redo a lot of the artwork that just was subpar and stuff like that. And that's all on me. That was me being subpar. Um, that was my main goal and everything. So I'd sit down to redo these portraits. Like this one, for example, it's turning out all right. I'd sit down to redo these portraits, and basically what ended up kind of going on with it. I'm not sure if this glitching I'm seeing is happening the whole time. Hopefully not. Let me pause this real quick and see what's going on. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with this glitching. I can't seem to stop it. So to me, that's just another in the weird events that's been going on and causing all types of chaos. I'm gonna swap USB ports real quick and just see what's kind of going on with this. Either way, thank you so much for watching. I'll finish the story in episode 9 of Do You Even Art, and hopefully won't have all this glitching going on. Oh, what's happening with me? Either way, like I said, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate the support that all of you have given. Whether it's just subscribing, sharing, or doing what I asked some of my friends, turning me on and just letting me play in the background if you don't want to hear my annoying voice. Either way, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, hit me up on social media. I'm everywhere at that Stephen Rice. So that's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm on Snapchat. I don't use it, so don't bother looking me up because there's literally nothing on there. I don't even have it on my phone installed, but I know I have one. I also have a Tumblr at that's Stephen Rice. That doesn't get updated nearly as often as everything else. But if you're a Tumblr user, by all means, find me on there and give me a reason. So definitely go ahead, like the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell if this is the first video you've seen of mine. And if this is the first video you've seen of mine, I'm so sorry about all this glitching and all the technical issues I've been having over the past few weeks. I appreciate the patience with it. Once again, thank you so much. If you have any commissions or anything like that that you would like to go ahead and shoot my way, I do custom portrait work for people. Movie posters, advertisements, logos, everything like that. Just kind of hit me up, shoot me a message either here or on my social media. Thank you so much for watching. That's Stephen Rice on YouTube. This was Do You Even Art? This was episode, I believe, 7. Yeah, I believe it was episode 7. I think I might have said it was episode 8 earlier. I'm way off then. I'm tired. I'm going to thank you once again after 900 thanks, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.